We live and rocking. Welcome, you beautiful fucks, to the Stone Age Podcast, man. Today, we have a special guest because we have someone real legit for you savages. The First Lady.
Woo! First Lady.
Leticia,
so honored.
the niece.
Oh.
How's it going?
Good.
So, all right. So, I'm going to cut all the bullshit. Earlier, we were talking about Cardi B.
Oh,
right?
yes.
All right, I can't stand her.
Infamous.
I can't stand her.
I'll
be on record. I've probably been on record for a minute already.
Yes, that I know.
I can't.
Take a deep breath. It's okay.
People act like she's coming out like with the most dynamic fucking lyrics, the most fucking oh my god, is she
it's
just
recycled. It ain't nothing new.
I think first of all, okay, right? So what I'm saying, so the way she raps, I think any girl could do it.
Not any. I couldn't do it.
Any girl who's a rapper, put it that way. Because there's a million rapper girls in Atlanta. You see all those housewife shows and whatever the fuck it is. What is it? Love and Hip Hop
thing. And
you know how many strippers? You know how many strippers could rap?
Yeah.
A lot.
I'd be surprised. Yeah, I'm sure. Out in Atlanta, I'm sure you can find a lot.
Oh, but let me ask you this though. As a girl, as a woman, as a lady, do you? Does it matter to you what she's representing? I guess how can I explain it?
Yeah,
she's more of that whole, kind of crazy.
Yeah.
I'm the
what
boss.
What she's talking about
type.
And like sexuality and what she's representing, the strip club money and all that. It's not positive stuff, right? Especially for women. But I get owning who you are and what you represent and not being ashamed by it. There's power in that. Just like any other man, if they were to be like, I'm this, I'm that, you know what I mean? Nobody would question it. But all of a sudden, if you're a woman, I think there's this new movement.
Double standard to it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
That it's like, okay, wait, you men have rapped about this for years, ever since rap was freaking created and started. Yet when a woman does it, it's like, but wait, who's writing those raps? Who's doing this? Who's doing that? And all of a sudden it comes to question, oh wait, she has a ghostwriter. But yet with the male rapper, for instance, Drake, who's very popular, that people can say he has a ghostwriter, but yet he makes millions and people love him. It's accepted. It's like, oh, okay, it's not even a second guess. It's not even an issue. But all of a sudden, Cardi has a ghostwriter, and it's like, oh no, you know what I mean? And it's like, I don't feel there should be a double standard.
Yeah, as far as the ghostwriting goes, there shouldn't be a double standard.
Yeah.
Right, there should. Where I have the issue, let's say with Drake, right, is you go from saying, well, you know what? To be honest, I don't really listen to Drake, so I can't really say that he's. Because what is he really talking about? Like, he's not talking about he's more like love music, right? Like more like love rap.
He sings.
Is he hard? Is he trying to be hard?
I mean, people kind of hated on him originally. I remember when he first came out, Drake came out,
like
and I was kind of like, who is this guy who sings and raps? It was a new thing, right? And I remember people were like, I remember reading that he was like, a lot of people didn't want to sign him because he sang and he rapped. And it was kind of like a stigma behind it, like, wait, are you R&B or are you rap? What are you? But until Wayne and their whole thing,
accepted him,
Cash Money and all that, they knew where the money was at. They're like, dude, this is where the money's at. So next thing you know, it's a popular thing. Now everybody's like, oh yeah, let's sing and rap. You know what I mean? Like, you kind of see it being more mainstream, more accepted.
That's true.
That's what happens. It's like you have to bring new things. It can't always just stay the same thing. There has to be.
But the thing, that's new things to mainstream, because you could go into, I could pull up some good music that's not mainstream and they have great lyrics, great beats.
Yeah, and that's all underground.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But
I think that's the awesome part about underground music is that when you are about the underground scene, you feel so privileged to know about the underground rappers and artists. That's the whole point about being underground. And a lot of people love to be fans about underground, no matter what the industry is.
That's true.
For instance, my husband, he was all about underground. Like, oh, I know about so-and-so before he became famous. I know about so-and-so. And I'm just like, oh, cool, that's awesome, But a lot of people pride themselves
and then once they make it famous, they're like, fuck them.
Exactly. It's like Blink-182 and all that. Oh, they're from Oakland. Oh, they're
they're from Oakland?
Yeah.
I didn't even know
no,
that.
wait, no, sorry, not Blink-182.
No,
sorry, Green Day. My apologies.
I didn't know they were from Oakland.
Yeah, Green Day is from Oakland.
Okay.
And before they're their first original punk rap punk rock, freaking. Yeah, they're the best, right? They're the first original punk rock. And then once they made it mainstream, everyone's like, no. But that's classic rock. Yeah, but that's in classic rock fashion. I think that's classic
people. People like to be in the in.
Exactly. But I mean, dude, you're underground. You want to make it famous. Anybody who's making their music, you want to make it famous. Yeah. You're not going to just be on there to, I want to be underground forever.
On here they put East Bay.
East Bay?
No, that I know they're from Oakland. Correct me if I'm wrong. Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but yeah, they're from Oakland. But no one's going to be working their asses off, trying to become a badass rock band.
To be low paid.
To be low paid and underground forever. No one wants to be under an indie label forever. You want to make it mainstream.
Unless you are in the, well, see, that's where I would say there's a differ. You can't, so you can be independent and be.
You can be independent and make it big.
But it depends on what it depends on what you're trying to go for. So I never, go back to Cardi B, right? I don't knock on her hustle. Never knock on the hustle.
Yeah, she's hustling. Hard.
If people want to listen to that, that's what they want to listen to.
To me, honestly, more credit to her for first coming out and then getting pregnant. A lot of people were like, what? She had to hide it. Mm-hmm. She hid her pregnancy for the first couple months. She did.
For like 2 months, didn't she?
No. I think for the first 4 or 5 months, maybe. Correct me if I'm wrong. I don't know. But she did hide her pregnancy. I'm not too sure for how long, but I know she showed it, I think, on SNL. Mm-hmm. And it was kind of a big deal. And I think that's the unfortunate part. And that's the side of being a woman, that you have to hide your pregnancy, or else it'll seem like, oh no, her pregnancy is going to ruin her career. She cannot be a mother and still make it big. This is the downfall of her career. Okay. So there's a lot of pride in that, and I can see that. Mm-hmm. I can see why a woman would be feeling a lot of pride.
More of the career out there,
and
right?
Still
to
saying,
put the career more.
Yeah. To still say, you know what? I still got my career going. I still made it big, no matter if I was pregnant or not. It didn't matter. It didn't hinder me. I still was able to make it. Mm-hmm. It didn't stop me from doing what I needed to do, and I think that's the beauty of it.
No, and like I said, I wouldn't knock on the hustle part. That whole image. I just don't like her music.
Right.
I just don't like her music.
Okay. And I'm not even going to say I buy her albums. I don't buy her albums. There are certain songs on the radio that I like, but I'm not into rap. Yeah. But there are songs that are catchy that I'm like, dude, I could totally karaoke this shit right now.
Because you know how we were talking about, so before the podcast started, we were talking about how like stupid shit kind of gets around, how people are more just into like dumb stuff, right? Like the trends and stupid, stupid shit. I think that's part of a stupid trend. Like it just.
But I think she's past the trend.
I think I'm being part of the old man on the stoop, right? Oh, get off my fucking lawn, right? Because I think as music,
like let it pass already, get over it.
Yeah, but mainstream music or mainstream media, anything,
they'll push
I think it's just getting dumber.
And I agree, but I think that's been happening for a while, even before Cardi B.
Well, I started with Soulja Boy.
Exactly.
That just started with Soulja Boy.
Seriously.
He's the one
that started happening for a while.
Yeah.
Shit's been dumbing down. Like, I don't know. It's just sad. It really is sad. We've even fallen behind when it comes to education. I mean, USA has been really dumbed down for a while.
Let me get your aspect on this then. It's coming from a woman's perspective, coming who's a mother, like, right? Like, so you're going to bring in you're going to raise a child in here, right? And the world's crazy. Or at least media or whatever would want you to think that the world's fucking crazy, right? That we're probably in one of the worst times ever. That racism is fucking out of the all-time high and violence is an all-time high. When to be in reality is really not. I personally don't think so. There is all that shit out there. There really is.
Yeah.
But I think there's a lot less. When people kind of ranting on here, but when people say, "Oh, racism is fucking crazy, it's everywhere," try being black in the 60s or right? So shit's getting improved, right? But I will say that shit's getting, like I said, dumber or whatever. So how do you feel bringing a child into this? Like, do you think, or where do you see the future then? How about that? We'll start with that. How do you see the future coming out of this? With technology,
honestly,
with everything involved?
Me and my perspective. So I have a child development minor. So me raising my son, I work with autistic kids. And I come from a background where For me, it's so important to be there for my son, to raise him, to have him exceed in all areas. And if I can help him, I'm the most important role that I could ever have is being a mother. That's the most important role in my life. And so I take it to the highest standard. And for many people, it's like, oh, what's a big deal of teaching your child his colors and his shapes by the age of 2 or whatnot. But what I'm seeing more and more in society nowadays is that a lot of kids are needing more and more speech development, like help with speech, which to me is like, it shouldn't be happening. And when I do my research and when I look up things, what I'm seeing more and more that's creating this type of, I don't know, delay is technology. It really is technology. And it's people, because technology and iPads and your phones and all these things, it hasn't been around long enough to be studied, to be researched enough, to have enough data to know the effects that it truly has on children. But what I found in looking things up, in seeing what has done to even my son, right? Which I'm like, dude, I look at him after he plays video games for a few minutes, after and I don't even like to, honestly, I don't like to give him the phone. If he ever's like, Mom, can I use your phone? I'm like, no, dude, you're like here playing with your cousins, play with your cousins. This is your time. You know, or if he's like, oh, Mom, can I play, you know, the video games? Like, that's like a reward. Like, if you had a good day at school, it's a reward for you, you know, and for a time frame. You know, like his doctor always told me, no more than an hour or 2. Tops 2 hours in a day. Tops. Television, that's including television, video games, phone. Tops.
Just screen time.
Yeah, screen time, period. And I believe in that because I see the effects it can have. Like, and what I've read is that when a child is watching something, whether it's video games or whatnot, their brain, because it's barely developing and soaking all these things in, is still accelerated, still overly
it's too much information
stimulated.
Yeah, it's too much information.
So even if you turn it off, they're still stimulated. And I'll see my son running back and forth in the apartment and jumping up and down and still like, wow, you know, like still in such excitement. And I'm like, this isn't normal. But then at the same time, growing up back in our days, we would play a lot more outside.
Yeah.
We would not be indoors just playing video games. We'd be like, dude, I want to go outside. I want to run around. I want to play tag. I want to ride my bike. I want to jump up and down. I want to go on the swings. A lot of kids don't have that luxury, and we don't see what that's doing.
What do you think stops? I think what stopped that whole being able to go outside and all that stuff was the whole introduction of fucking serial killers and fucking, I think helicopters came out. There's a fear. The helicopter parents came out.
There is a fear.
Once people get abducted,
I can admit that I can be a helicopter parent where I can't be there and be like, if my son was like, oh, Mom, I want to go to my neighbor's house. I don't know your neighbor.
Because I used to run away.
I don't know who they are.
I used to just book it.
You would be outdoors all day till the light went on, and you're like, okay, it's too late. I got to go back home.
I got to come back.
You know?
So to go back to the...
But I can't trust that. Like I'll say that it's better to raise a kid in an apartment than in a home.
Yes.
Because in an apartment, there's neighborhood kids. In a home, there's neighborhood kids.
Yeah, you can't trust
But I still can be like, I don't know that parent. I don't know that neighbor.
There's always that
I don't know what they're into. I don't, you know.
That's always that.
So I'm like, you can't go to their house. I need to physically watch you and what you're doing.
Yeah. And there's always that big if you're not too sure.
It's hard.
But to get back to so to talk about how you're saying, like screen time and all this, right? So, and I agree with you 100%. But the other side of the coin is, if you look at these kids, it's like if the fucking technology is made for them, right? Like, have you seen how the way they fucking scroll through it? They know how to. Oh yeah. They know how to maneuver it better than some adults. They catch on.
But that's because kids are sponges. Developmentally, since they're born.
Oh yeah,
they are naturally made to be
what I'm saying is though, yeah, exactly. But
even more than older people, it takes us. A child can learn many different languages up to the age of like 7.
I think the age of 5 is the best.
Up to 7, I believe. But yeah, 5, 7.
Around there.
Yeah.
But you
can learn many languages, but if you're like an older person, it's very unlikely that you'll learn.
Yeah. Well, you can't teach an old dog new tricks, right? That's the whole thing.
Exactly.
But what I'm saying is that the way the technology is built,
developers,
the development of it.
Yeah, they're very smart.
It's programming. But what I'm saying is that have you ever heard of fuck, I forgot who says it, but I'm starting to believe it more and more, right? So humans are just the sexual organs of robots, of machines, right?
Except we have a soul.
Yes, but that's a different concept, right? There's a whole different thing, right? But I'm just saying that in saying that is that
we can the
reason why the humans are here is basically to create AI, robots, computers, fucking this and that, because in the process of human progress has always been to achieve better, right? It's no one's ever the caveman Stone Age.
Yeah, we're never gonna work backwards.
Right. You're never gonna go backwards. You always improve.
You always move forward.
You always move forward. You always do. So the newest, the better thing, right? So like I said, with the kids, when they go through certain things, when they see the videos, they see all this stuff, when they get the new technology, right? They're getting programmed into it. I was telling Aaron on the last podcast that even though you may feel like you're against it, right? Because you have your old ways of thinking. You had the from the time before, right? Before technology kicked in.
Well, that's what's interesting is that my husband will tell me. He's like, I grew up on video games. I grew up on TV. I grew up just fine. But it's different. My old way of thinking.
You still played outside.
Yeah, no, but not even that. My old way of thinking, or what I was exposed to when we were kids in our times, video games were much more different. They weren't as fast. They weren't as 3D. There wasn't as many patterns and special effects. Like now you'll see warnings on these video games saying, hey, if you have epilepsy, you can get seizures. That's not normal.
Yeah, that's not.
That's way more advanced than it is.
Who's that? Sorry, get in there, son. You son of a bitch, how dare you? How dare you?
Sorry.
No, so that's
But
fine.
you get what I'm saying?
No, and I get it.
Like, it is different. It has totally changed.
No, and I get it. I agree with everything you're saying. The only reason why I'm saying is that as time progresses, right? Like, once you die off, you're not going to have your old ways of thinking to tell someone, right?
Yeah.
So your kids, right?
Yeah.
Your kids are going to be used to this technology part, to
What and not even that, like the freaking what's it called? What's that? When you put my son just tried it. Yeah, the VR. My son just tried it yesterday.
What we're talking about. That's what
and he was like all like, whoa, you know what the.
So he's gonna be so used to. So, but imagine his kid, right?
Yeah. So now it's totally different.
So now you get the younger generation that are not used, or they're used to having no privacy, technology, everything is at your reach, right? So therefore, it makes everything softer. Everything becomes softer. In human progression, you would want that, right? The reason why we became cities is because you got tired of getting eaten by bears, right? So you become softer, right? So what is it? I think the fucking, like, look at the Viking days, right? Those motherfuckers are huge, but now you don't have that. Now you have chubby dudes walking around, or you have, because everything's supposed to be softer, right? That's what you would essentially want.
But I think that stops progression, and that's what dumbs
down
society.
But it's a double-edged sword.
It is a double-edged sword, and I can agree with you on that.
That's what I'm trying to get at.
Because it doesn't allow for you to continue to be creative and to develop more. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That area in your brain that is creative, it doesn't. It dumbs it down because you do not want to work to do that. You know what I mean? Like, I try to tell my son, I'm like, okay, you love that show, you love that movie, you love that video game. Okay, let's create our own movie. Let's write it out. Let's work on a script. You know what I mean? Let's develop something. Oh, no, that's not fun. It's more fun to watch it.
And it's true too. More people are watching motherfuckers and shit.
Yeah, and they didn't put that up there for no reason. They didn't create TVs for no reason. You know what I mean? It's a distraction. That's what it is, and it doesn't allow you to continue to grow and develop. You know, as a human being, you know what I mean? And I think that's why, honestly, society is the way that it is, and even more with your phones. Even more with that distraction. It's bad enough you had TV as a distraction. Then once phones came around, we're all susceptible to it. We all get distracted and we lose track of time. You know?
Yeah.
Over nothing.
But what amazes me is how short, or I was trying to explain.
Attention span?
Yeah, I was explaining to Aaron.
That's the guy who made that quote.
The quote.
Attention span?
So Marshall McLuhan, Canadian educator, philosopher, and scholar of professional English literature and So that's the guy that made the whole sexual organ. The humans are just the sexual organs of robots, of the machines, because it's
we are caterpillars.
We're the caterpillar. We're the caterpillar, and the butterfly is the robot, is the AI. Which I honestly believe that's where we're headed. The AI is coming. We're gonna have fucking artificial robots. They could fucking think for themselves, and fend for themselves.
Well, I think there's a reason why movies put it out there.
To where it's going to be you're walking around with a different species. It's just going to be you're talking.
It's already happening.
Yeah.
There's so many men that buy these sexual robots. They'll spend $10,000
and I think, honestly,
to customize it. And I've read articles where these men will be like, they're better than having a wife. I've had 2-3 divorces and they disagree with what I say and they're just small talk and let me put it in the hole and let's keep going.
But you know what's surprising? You know what's one of the biggest things? Well, okay, so
and a lot of people don't have social
cues. Well, because social media makes you antisocial. So all this
and
stuff.
I can see that, and that's why there's so much depression, anxiety.
And I'm a big believer.
Isolation.
Okay, let me hear from you from women then, right? So I'm a firm believer that prostitution and all that should be legal. Hookers, all that should be legal. You should be able to walk in, pick a girl, I want you, we're gonna fuck. Or you better walk in, I want you, dude, we're gonna fuck.
Well, let's see, how does that work in Amsterdam?
How is the rape over there?
How is
murder?
It working for them?
I would check the crime rate of sexual fucking.
I think it's the same thing. And I think it's even worse because women out there, they still can't have a voice. They still can't. They can still have pimps. They can still have all these things and work openly in the district, in the red light district. They can still have pimps and all these things and people that abuse them and stuff. And they don't have a voice, even less, I think.
But if you're on your own business, but if it's a legal
lot of
business.
Women don't.
No, see what I'm saying, but if it's your own business.
I think right now, the way that women do it, yes. It can be their own business. It can be at their own. Yeah, like the porn stars, how now they do it. Yes, right? The porn stars, all they do is just cameras. I've read plenty of women right now that go to college. Young women. Yeah, and that's how they get through. They have their sugar daddies and they have control. But I feel like if it was to be open game and everything's legal, I don't know how it would work. I really don't. So I don't think it'd be at anybody's. I think
it would work out. I honestly think it would work out.
Maybe if there was policies for it that would protect women and say,
you make it a job. You make it legit. You make it legit. You make it an office or security. Yeah, you make it a job.
Because regardless, we know sex sells.
Yes.
We know it does.
It's already there. So that's
plenty of women are like, dude, I'm in the wrong business.
Okay, well, isn't this weird that you could massage someone's foot for money, right? Which is fucking disgusting, right? but if a girl wants to suck some dick or she wants to get laid. Or she wants
put that on vibrate.
or she wants to
put it on vibrate. My apologies.
Or she, you know what I mean? Like, my thing is, you could do weird stuff. Like, okay, like you working at a McDonald's on a grill, right? That's prostitution to me because you don't want to do that, right? So a lot of the people say, oh, how do you know that girl wants to be there, right? Is that
wait? Prostitution is a woman working in McDonald's at a grill.
A lot of the times when people say, oh, those girls don't want to be doing that kind of stuff, right? Okay. A lot of people don't want to be working the grill, but you're doing it because you need the money. You don't want to be there. To me, that's prostitution because you're doing something you're not really want to do, right? You're selling yourself for something less than what you.
Yeah, but I think that's a stretch.
Okay, well, but to get back to the actual prostitution part, the reason why I would say that's more legit, because dudes are crazy, right? We're talking about guys here.
Yeah, guys are sick sometimes.
A lot of the serial killers, a lot of these murderers and this shit, a lot of these dudes was because they weren't able to be touched. Like literally, a lot of these mass murderers.
And may I add, I think a lot that has to blame, and don't get me wrong, is porn. I think porn.
I think it's
I think porn.
Yes, it's more access. More access.
From what I've read, gives this impression for men, especially if you're exposed at a young age, thinking that S&M and violent type of sexual interaction is normal and this is what women want and they want to be that, you know?
But if that guy's lacking in a social cue to be able to talk to a woman.
It's even worse.
I know. Okay, so hear me out. So if that guy's lacking in that, right? He has already a fuck up, distorted mind or whatever the fuck it is, right? He can't get sex anywhere because when he talks to somebody, it's fucking disaster, right? The girl fucking runs away screaming, right? Okay. All he wants to do at one point is basically especially growing up, men just want to be touched. Like to be frank, the puberty hormones and shit. Even to you'll be 50 years old.
Anybody as a human being, yeah.
That's right, but I think it's more specifically for men.
Yeah.
That's why there's no like serial female killers and shit. Like right. So most of it is all like men.
Yeah.
For the most part, right? So if they were they go to a point where no woman touches me or does anything, even when I try to be nice or whatever the fuck it is, right?
Nothing works.
And now it's illegal. I can't go get sex over here. I can't do this. I think that kind of drives them into a small tunnel, and it makes them, well, fuck, it makes me go crazy. I don't know what to do, so I'm gonna snatch her.
I think it goes deeper. Honestly,
mean?
I think it goes deeper than that. I think it has a lot to do with society norms for male masculinity. And I think what I've read, because, you know, I have a son and I'm raising him. And my son, my husband doesn't agree too much sometimes with how I raise him. I raise him where I'm like, you can express and you can cry.
I think that's good, yeah.
And you can tell me when you're mad, you're sad, you're frustrated, you're this, you're that. And I'll give him comfort and I'll love him regardless. No matter what, it's okay. You can cry. And a lot of
people...
Is this
like participation trophy kind of shit?
No. A lot of people, I feel, especially in society,
kick him in his face.
No.
Kick him in his stupid fucking face.
No. A lot of people in society feel like a boy, no, toughen up. You're not supposed to cry. Man up.
Man up.
That's toxic male masculinity. And I feel that's a big reason why a lot of men are growing up to be more violent.
I give you that one.
More self-destructive.
Unable to talk it out.
And depressed because, oh no, if you're emotional and you want to talk about it, that's a feminine trait. You are not supposed to be feminine. You're a man. You need to toughen up, and physical power is your strength. And that's where you will, you know, in sports, you will exceed and all these things. You know what I mean? And
that's culturally constructed, though, right?
Absolutely. Society created that.
But you don't think
it's toxic. And I think that's the big problem in society today. And I truly do, me personally, my own views, is that these violent video games, along with society norms for men, along with expectations and the fact that you are not supposed to talk about anything, and you know what, by all means too, on top of that, your parents, they need to work hard and they need to make money, and they can't be there for you. They can't be there for you. So whoever's there, whether it's a gang or an after school program, because not everybody is there, they'll take over. And you know what, that's who's raising your kids. It's either an after school program or the streets. And whatever you get, well, good luck.
So you don't. You know? So you think? I think some of that, even for men, right? I think that the natural outburst of violence. I think it is culturally constructed, right? The man the fuck up and do this. Don't be a bitch. You're being
I don't
gay
think
right
it's
now.
natural.
No. I think some of it is natural. I personally believe.
I think it's exposed naturally.
Hear me out real quick. Caveman days. Bigger, better, stronger, survive.
Yeah.
Right. Same way guys are attracted to big boobs because it shows the where's it
but that's more sexual.
No, I know, but I think it's still genetically still in your fucking head. It's like when you ask a child, what are you scared of? Well, I'm scared of the dark. Wow, you should be scared of fucking guns, because that's what kills more kids than the dark.
Yeah,
no, we're scared of the boogeyman, because for thousands of years we're fucking getting jacked by tigers in the fucking woods. Or they don't even live in the woods, but wherever the fuck it is, right?
Adaptation, wherever you're at.
Or India. India, what? I don't know, the jungle. Where the fuck it is, right?
I think men are more prone to be active. And I think that's
more
why...
Physical?
Yeah, more physical.
Just like, it's always
go
been there.
Jump, go run, go climb a tree.
Or go defend the tribe.
But I don't think violence is natural.
Defend the tribe?
But I don't think violence is natural so much.
No, not as much.
Honestly, raising my son, I remember he was like 2.5. And I remember telling my husband, I don't want him watching these superhero stuff where it's like shooting and blood and guts and chopping heads and all this stuff. I'm like, dude, he's 2.5. It's like, why is it acceptable for a boy to see it? But it's hard to keep him. You know, it's hard to keep him from watching the Ninja Turtles or, you know, the Avengers or whatever, whatnot, especially if he has older siblings and older cousins.
Just to interrupt
harder.
Just to interrupt you on that. Okay, but why is it that the dude's prone to go into Ninja Turtles and superheroes, but the girl is going to go into Frozen? But they watch it, but they've watched the first ones.
It's natural instincts. Women and men, they are built differently. But like I said, it's more active stuff. Us women, we're more caring. We're more nurturing. We were made to have babies.
But the fighting part, I think, is like defend the tribe.
Exactly. Defend, but not kill. Yeah. And that's the terrible part that I think society has now created, is like now you're so desensitized. Yes. And I think that's a big word nowadays in our society, is like, do. This is what I do for 12 hours in a day is play Halo or play whatever it is. You know what I mean?
Halo's still out there?
I don't know. Halo, freaking Call of Duty. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah, no, I feel you.
This is what you do. And so this is how men take out their aggression because they're not physically active. They're not out doing anything.
And they don't get laid.
Naturally, or they don't get laid. Yes, exactly. And why?
And then all that is perfect storm.
Exactly. And you're going to tell me that these creators and these developers and all these people, they have a bunch of money to back them up and to have psychologists and all these people to tell them, hey, this is going to have an effect in our society. Oh, yeah, but we need to make money. We don't care. We don't care the effect. We don't care if it isolates people. We don't care if it depresses them. We don't care if they have anxiety. Oh, but now, since there's research to back it up, now that things are being brought into light, oh, let's get rid of likes. Oh, let's get rid of the thumbs up. Let's get rid of this.
I'm all that.
You know what I mean?
Yeah,
but now all of a sudden, they knew this. They knew it when they created it. And now all of a sudden, it comes to light. So now it matters.
They want to stop it. Yeah. Well, because people are starting to notice it now.
Exactly. But that's what I'm going to tell you. That's what technology is going to be is later down the line, all of a sudden, oh, now we know the effects it has on kids. Now we know why they need
But I think by then we're going to be connected to it.
And all these things,
we're going to be connected to it. You're not going to need to speak. You're going to be connected into it.
I hope not. But yeah, I can see that.
That's
the
where
chip
it's going.
implanted into your brain. And even that is like, it's harm too. Remember I told you the other day about the FDA approving all these medical advancements and all these things, and yet you don't know the harm it creates in your body. We're not meant to have metal inside of our body. Your body is going to reject that as if it was a cancer. Like, this is abnormal. This isn't meant to be here. I'm going to fight it.
Never
you know what I mean?
First trial of anything.
No, never. And a lot of these things are approved. Why? Because of money. We're guinea pigs at the end of the day in society. We really are. We're human guinea pigs.
We are.
They don't care because their bottom line is money. And at the end of the day, if it makes you sick to have this implant, more money for me.
Oh, yeah, of course.
More money for me as the one that approved it, the one that backed it up. It's more money if you're sick. We want a sick society because it's more money. So at the end of the day, it's corporate America.
So speaking of sick society, so let me get a little not too political in here, but to speak of, I just heard it was great. I think Bill Maher said it. So most Democratic candidates are talking about like Medicare, right? Or free medical, fucking medical. But they're not talking about be healthy, fucks, you fat fucks. You get me? Like that's and I loved how Bill Maher said that shit. Like you can't
and I
talk
agree.
about right because it goes into the
It's
health.
better to prevent
and then you're talking about give free everything, but how about you give not that fat
nutrition classes.
Don't give that fat dude another slice.
No, yeah, absolutely. I honestly think, especially if you're a parent, you should be having classes as a parent teaching nutrition
not the government.
To parents.
Like, I don't think the government should be entwined in that shit. That should be something
I feel like just in general.
But maybe that's why we got to that.
Your insurance or your schools, growing up in education.
I think it should be in schools.
It should be implemented from elementary school. Hey, teach your kids the 4 food groups in elementary school. Teach them the importance, the nutrients. Like, I just read an article the other day of this, I think 17, 18-year-old kid who lost his eyesight because all he ate since he was like, I don't even know, 10 or so, since he was a kid. His parents couldn't get him to eat anything else besides Pringles, French fries, and other processed foods. And because of that, he lost his eyesight. Why? Because, you're getting your calories, but you're not getting your nutrition. And why? Because parents are like, well, it's food. It's like, no.
It's still eating it.
Avoid these aisles. It's real food. Like, I have to teach my son that there's real food and there's fake food.
Oh yeah, there's even ways to shop when they
they tell you
shop on the outside. Don't go in the middle.
Shop on the outside. Get your vegetables, get your fruits.
So what do you think? What do you think? I spoke to Wang about. I was speaking to Wang about this. About how the whole Darwinism, right? So Darwinism would tell you that dude that lost his eyesight should have died. Right? Let's be real about it.
But
his parents.
Right?
His parents, and he should have died. He should have died. The parents should have died. They should have died. In the real world, they would have died, right? The only thing that's keeping them is modern technology, medicine,
and I agree. And my husband tells me that all the time. He's like, he told me that the other day. He was like, it doesn't fall on you. The burden can't fall on you for the way society is and the kids are. And I'm just like, yeah, but it breaks my heart that like not enough parents know, not enough people know what they're doing to their children. To me, the most important generation is the next generation. Without the next generation, who the fuck are we? What are we going to leave behind? You know what I mean? Unless all these rich old farts are really trying to replicate themselves and have all these, which most likely is happening.
We're talking about
and
that earlier.
You know what I mean? It's like, I'm sure it's happening just like you see in movies. But unless that's really happening, it's like, okay. Like you said, I think they're just
to bring in the machines.
You know,
we're just batteries.
It's the
younger generation is going to be batteries,
and that's the unfortunate part. But I think, as a human being, that I care, right? Like I'm empathetic to everyone, and I want obviously we can't 8 billion people live on this planet. Mm-hmm. It's not realistic, right? It's survival of the fittest, like you say. Not everyone's meant to be, and if they're the dumb people that are not educated and blah blah blah, like
those
you
people
said,
usually
then, you know what, you were meant to die.
In the wild,
I feel bad. I can't say that. I can't say, oh yeah, they were dumb enough, they were meant to die. I can't personally say that that's okay. I feel like everyone deserves to live. Everyone deserves to have a chance at life, and everyone should be educated. You know.
But the simple thing, yeah. So that it goes. I mean, because I'm probably one of those dumbasses too that deserve.
You know, I can't just say, oh, because you have money, then you deserve to live because you were more educated or you were more this, you were more that.
You might have gotten more lucky.
At the end of the day, that's what it is. I feel.
Yeah. Well, I mean, at the same time, there's still
unless you were born into money.
Yeah, but even if you're born into money, I think there's still some kind of, because even people that are born into money, they lose their money. Right?
Yeah,
they fucking burn through it.
They burn through it.
And so I never knock on the hustle, because if someone's rich, I'm not going to take nothing away from them.
Like, and a lot of people that have more hustle, that have more drive, like you said, some people are born into it, and so they're more lazy, they're more susceptible to just kind of like fall through the cracks, right? And more people that are like, you know, it's kind of like me and my husband. My husband, he was more like, I would say, raised by the streets. He was more like independent, having to grow up a lot faster. Mm-hmm. Me, I was more nurtured. I was more, you know, I had my education. I went to college and all these things.
A woman,
which a lot more women, if you look at it statistically, they're going to college. They're being more educated. And I think that has a lot to do why also there's a decline in marriage rates too. A lot more in divorces in this country and all these things, you know. It's the rise in education. And
technology to divorce rates because technology. I think when MySpace came out, I think the divorce rate was like 60%. Straight up, because people start DMing each other. Because you're able to talk to someone, you're able to talk to your high school sweetheart.
There's more possibilities.
Yeah, you're able to talk to your high school. Oh my God, and you get divorced.
Endless.
Yeah, because more technology. I mean, look at Ashley Madison. There's a straight website for married people, like specifically for that.
That's crazy.
For that, you know what I mean? Like I think you're gonna get to a point where you have no more privacy, you have no more anything. I think you're gonna be able to think
everything's exposed and everything's out there.
On South Park, it's the shitter. So it's the same. You have the thing in your brain, and whatever you think, it goes directly on the online, right? So I think that's how it's eventually gonna be. Especially with this whole like
that would suck.
With the whole Me Too movements and like it's all context, right? So you're gonna try to weed out and it double-edged sword, right? Because the good part would be like, well, you're gonna weed out all the pieces of shit, right? Anybody who thinks fucking shitty, you're gonna weed them out because you could be able to think you're able to do it, but you have no privacy, right? But what I'm saying is your child's child is gonna be used to not having that privacy, so they're gonna want that chip in their fucking head. Right, because once you die, you're the only voice of reason that says don't get the chip, right? But the kids, they're gonna be like, well, the chip is the shit.
That's what's in.
That's what I'm gonna get it. So fuck you, mom. You know, like that's
crazy. That's so sci-fi too.
How else am I gonna play my video game, mom?
Yeah, like, that's insane. When I've seen that in the news, they're like, oh yeah, get a little rice-sized chip inserted in you, and you know, if you ever get in a car accident, they could just scan you and be like, oh, she's susceptible to this, and that. She has these illnesses. I'm like,
are you an organ donor?
I actually am.
Don't do it, bro.
I know, and that's what's crazy. But that's the human in me to be like,
you're gonna human your ass out here.
They're gonna plan my death or something. Is that what you're saying?
What happens is you get in a car accident, you're about to die, and she'll, dude, she might die, but she has 2 good fucking
No,
organs.
believe me,
and
I
we're
thought
gonna
about
pass
that
it
the
to
other
homie.
day. Yeah, I thought about that the other
And when they
day,
could save
and
you,
it
like,
says
cut
like
her.
you have to actually go through the organ donor website or some crap. Like you can't just put a new information and say I no longer want to be. It's like no, you can't do that.
How difficult it is
You gotta
to get
go,
off of it.
and that's the difference. That was me before having kids. That was me young, being like, oh, I want to save a life. I want to be, I want my heart to go into somebody else's body
you
and
could
be
be
like,
dying.
oh, he,
I think in
has
Dallas,
a new chance of life.
I think in Dallas, like in the 80s or 70s.
But now I'm a mom. I'm like, no.
They
Keep me alive.
found a hospital in Dallas was killing organ donors. They'll let them die. So they'll come in and they're like, oh, dude, we could keep his heart and his liver, so just let him die, and then we'll save 2 other people.
Yeah, I remember reading an article too that they would do a bunch of experiments
is
and they were doing who knows what.
So if you could save 2 for 1, how does that work? If I could save 3 people right now to kill you.
What if you just say one of the other one and say that's something?
But if I could tell you,
that's the
hey,
hard
bro,
part.
if you
I've
die
heard
right now,
that
you're gonna save
debate.
3 people.
I've heard that debate too.
You're gonna save 3 children.
Like I've heard that debate of like, okay, let's say you're gonna die and you're this really good doctor that saves lives on a daily, but you're gonna save these 3 people. One is a murderer, one is a pedophile, and one is just a whatever.
So do you let them
like,
kill you?
do you And that's I don't know. That's life, right?
Me? No.
That's the crazy thing.
Fuck no.
Yeah, like that's the crazy thing, right? That you have to consider, and it's never that clear cut. No one's gonna know that. No one's gonna know their history or what it is, but you just don't know, and that's life. And I think that's the beauty of life. You can't control everything. You can't know everything, but
it's possibilities.
The possibilities on it are endless.
Man, and with that one, we're gonna wrap this bitch up. Yeah. That was a beautiful segment right there.
Thank you.
Thank you for coming. Do you want to let the people know where they could find you at?
Oh yeah, sure. Like Lady_Leti on Instagram.
Lady.
Because I'm a lady.
All right, you beautiful fucks. Stay beautiful.
Bye.
And stay savage, man.